Well, time now for News Extra, brought to you by Intralinks, and with our program, here's Kevin Mooney.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Good morning, everyone. We're talking to Barb Martinson today, and she, of course, involved in the John Conlee concert to benefit the Legacy of the Plains Museum. Coming up this Saturday night over at the Five Rocks Amphitheater. Kenyon Lockery will open it up at 6 p.m. and then Mr. Conlee will follow probably around 7:15, 7:30.
You're exactly right, Kevin, and we are so excited to bring John back. He was here 6 years ago. He's an icon in Nashville. He's had a lot of hit songs, and when you listen to him sing, you'll know his music.
Yeah, no question about it. The number ones, really, he's had 7 number ones, but when I interviewed him yesterday, he was talking about, I told him, I said 7 number ones and 14 others in the top 10, and but he said, you know, my favorite song never even made it to number 1 because it was his very first hit,
Right.
and that's Rose-Colored Glasses. So.
Exactly right, Kevin, and I'll tell you, his voice is better than it was 40 years ago. We watched him on TV, an old program from about 40 years ago, he and Reba McEntire.
Yeah.
His voice, he sang these songs so many times, and John Conlee's voice is very distinctive. When you hear his voice, you know it's John Conlee.
Yeah, and so he does a great job, and mentioned to me that he has some new music around, but he says, I know people are there to listen to the hits, and that's what I sing.
Exactly, and you know what, he's such an icon in Nashville, and 2 years ago Vince Gill wrote a song especially for John Conlee, and it's a gospel song. I love it. It's called Bread and Water, and he'll perform that song too. And then we don't want to forget about Kenyon Lockery. This is the 3rd year that Kenyon has opened for my show, for Legacy of the Plains, and people love him. He sings the traditional country music, but he plays the guitar. He's very good at the guitar, and that reminds me, Steve that has the guitar shop, help me out here.
Steve Thrasher.
Yeah, Steve Thrasher. Sorry, Steve. Anyway, he's loaning his guitar to Kenyon this year. And Kenyon said it was really hard to take your instruments through the airport because they practically take them apart, you know.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so Steve said he could use his guitar, and also Steve's giving a guitar to auction.
That's right. It's going to have John Conlee's signature on it and the signature from last year. Pam Tillis.
Pam Tillis and Kenyon signed it too.
Yeah.
The
So
young
3 of them.
man that bought it last year donated it back, and so now we're going to sell it again this year.
All right, that's pretty neat.
And our sponsors, Kevin. We couldn't do this without Regional West Medical Center, Westco, and 21st Century. And they sponsor John, and then the Buckley Trust from Chapel sponsors Kenyon.
Yeah,
And the concessions, talk about those.
yeah, that's Panhandle Co-op does that, Main Street Market, and then you have somebody that does the sound and lights for you.
Right, Bob Westbrook Audio. Bob has even done Rascal Flatts. He's done this for me for, I don't know how many concerts, but here for 9 years. And he's great. Every artist that's been here says Bob does the greatest job.
All right. So John Conlee, to be here on Saturday night over at Five Rocks, we'll tell you how you can get tickets right after this break.
Is your wireless computer network secure? With their years of professional service, you can trust Intralinks.
Sorry about that.
You know, I'm so sad that nobody's going.
Up and running, not having a
Dang
secure
it.
wireless network.
I wouldn't mind going if we get back in time. It's not Tracy's music.
You know, I didn't know if it would be you or Denny that would interview him, because when they called me, I said, well, I want it on KNEB, you
Yeah,
know.
he was fun. He was a good time.
And the only time that he'll do it is on Tuesday,
Yeah.
and I didn't know who'd be doing it.
All right, we're back on News Extra. We're talking about the John Conlee concert coming up Saturday night over at Five Rocks Amphitheater. The proceeds to benefit the Legacy of the Plains Museum. Mr. Conlee back after he was here about 6 years ago for the same purpose. And the man has just so many great songs heading back into the 80s and even into the 90s. 7 number ones, 14 other top 10s, some of his number ones. Lady Lay Down, Backside of 30 is one of the ones probably you remember the most. Common Man, I'm Only in It for the Love. That song has been done not only by John Conlee, but then others after that.
Right.
So there's just a lot of songs that you're going to recognize.
Well, and you know, John, we met him in Nashville last year. We had backstage passes through John for the Opry. And that song, Common Man, is who John is. He has an acreage outside of Nashville. He says he's the happiest when he's riding on his tractor. And he just is a common man, and he has this dog. And I mean, and the other thing, Kevin, too, people should wait around, not very long, because within 5 minutes after the concert's over, John will come out and meet everybody. He's decided, you know, now that John's the same age as I am, you know, as we get older, he doesn't know how long he's going to do this, and he likes to meet the people that come to his concerts. So he'll sign autographs, and Kenyon will sign autographs, and it'll be a fun time.
Yep, really will. Barb Martinson here to tell us all about it. And okay, so how do we get tickets for Mr. Conlee?
Well, just call Marty, my husband, Marty Martinson, has tickets. Any of the board members do. But you can call 436-1989. That's the Legacy of the Plains number. And they'll help you out with tickets. And, you know, it's really accessible to get tickets. And we hope we get a good crowd. It's supposed to be beautiful weather.
Yeah, supposed to be nice.
And you can bring your own chairs. A lot of people like to set up on the hill, you know, and now the bleacher or the stone seats that they have are really, really nice. Gearing Civic, you know, the Gearing went ahead and put in new
right,
you know,
right.
new seats and stuff, and that's really nice. And it's going to be a beautiful evening. Kevin, or I keep saying Kevin because I'm talking to Kevin, but Kenyon will come on at 6 o'clock. And John about 7:30. So it's going to be a 2.5-hour concert.
Yep. All right. So get your tickets. $25 for adults, and then
12 to 6 is $10, and then 5 and under are free. And it's a family show, Kevin. It's a really, you know, it's a show you can bring your children to and have a good time.
All right. So John Conlee at the Five Rocks Amphitheater. Don't forget, 7:30 is about the time he comes on. Kenyon Lockery will be on right around 6 o'clock. All right, Barb, thank you.
Kevin, thank you, and thank KNEB. KNEB does so much for this community. There isn't any place I'd rather come down to than be at this station.
Well, thank you very much.
And thank you, Kevin.
You bet.
Blue stem